What's up, guys? I hope you're fantastic so far. Once again, we're going to bring us another Warhammer video. We're looking at time the Primarchs were almost killed by Space Marines. So I thought it'd be pretty cool because I know the Primarchs are really almost unstoppable, basically gods at this point. And it'd be kind of cool to see how exactly they got in trouble with the Space Marine. Because obviously, Primarch is going to be what a basically what a Space Marine is to a normal person. Just complete overkill. They're crazy strong. They can flip the tide of a battle. They are literally borderline OP. So it'd be kind of cool to see, how exactly Space Marines kind of got to the point where they almost killed one. So, I'm kind of here to see what happens. I'm curious, and I just thought it'd be a cool video to watch. So, but like always, please check them out in the description. Show them some love. If you guys want content, you guys want reactions, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get to it.
Hey guys and gal, there is a saying in Warhammer 40k, only a Primarch can kill another Primarch. But is that actually true? Well, the evidence would suggest it's not. Primarchs are tough as hell, but a nuke to the face, an orbital strike, 100 bolt guns, or a roundhouse.
Especially my boy in the Salamanders, our Primarch is the best. You can find me on that. He's the best.
Kick to the head by Chuck Norris would all slay a Primarch.
The Salamanders on top.
However, a Primarch's near invulnerability is a lot less about their physical durability and more so about their destiny-bending demigod souls. If someone is destined for greatness, a random stray bolt shell isn't going to blow their brains out, or their ship isn't going to malfunction in the warp and explode.
Plot
to put
armor.
it simply, Primarchs literally have plot armor. However, despite Space Marines not really being able to kill Primarchs, they have tried many times and have actually gotten really close, and I think that's worth talking about. Before we get started, there's
going to be some type of Space Marines that are always going to be able to rival Primarch. Like, not exactly, but to a point, because there's always going to be some individuals who are just naturally more gifted, and you give them the enhancements, they're just going to be naturally even more stronger and better and more powerful and faster than your average, Astartes. Like, that's just bound to happen. Especially when they just picked a lot from some of the best candidates. But if you give even let's say every Space Marine is like an A+ tier. They're all A+ candidates. But then you get a couple S tier, then yeah, I could see that.
It's almost Christmas time.
I could see
and
that.
I have some options for some pretty fucking awesome gifts to give to your loved ones or yourself. Not instead of you assemble, you could get a raw paint, or if you're amazing art like a Titan's calendars around until Monday. If you want to be say. Today we'll go over every time a Space Marine is nearly killed a Primarch, detailing how the Primarch survived, as well as a few honourable mentions along the way.
Oh, it's nearly killed. I thought it was fought.
The amazing thumbnail art for this video.
Oh shit!
The Flores version will be on my Patreon.
This has been good.
Let's get into it. So kicking us off with what the thumbnail art for this video was, we have the time an Alpha Legion kill team ambushed Guilliman and nearly assassinated him. When people ask if the Alpha Legion is loyal or not, it gets complicated when they literally try to murder one of the most important loyalist Primarchs.
Yeah.
Basically, Guilliman had been building Imperium Secundus and heard news of an old friend, Adonai Thiel, a sergeant he fought side by side on Calth, returning to his side. He welcomed Thiel and his men with open arms, granting them a private audience in his room. They were acting stiff and awkward, none of them removed their helmets. They were tense and even set up an obvious attack pattern. However, Guilliman just assumed that because of how fucked up the fighting on Calth was, these men were just a bit shell-shocked and untrusting of their surroundings, so he let the red flag slide. It was only at the last second, the tiniest moment before the trap was sprung, did G-Man realize his mistake and take action. The Ultramarine kill team was actually Alpha Legionnaires in disguise. They immediately began attacking, whilst also sealing the entrance into the door off. It was brutal. Guilliman was wearing his light ceremonial armor, not his proper war plate, so the bullets were breaking through. He was shot, stabbed, and overall fucked up pretty bad. The close quarters of the room, alongside the fact that Guilliman didn't have any cheesy Primarch powers, like how Magnus or Corvus did, that could have instantly won him the fight. One by one though, at great cost, he slew the traitors until only 2 remained. However, he was shot in the shoulder, with a concussive force hitting him in the head and temporarily blinding him. The Alpha Legionnaire posing as Thiel put his blade to Guilliman's neck. G-Man was like, "Before you kill me, tell me who you are." The Alpha Legionnaire, full of arrogance common to his legion, said, "I am Alfarius." G-Man was then like, "It only takes 3 seconds for a Primarch to recover from a concussion, you fucking retard." And he shot the fake Thiel point blank.
Damn.
He stood up and shot the last attacker in the head.
Damn, that's cold.
To his knees, extremely injured and exhausted, as his men burst through the door and take their Primarch to the apothecary for healing. Now, unfortunately, this would not be the only time Guilliman was almost killed by a Space Marine. During the war in Calth, G-Man confronts Corferon and engages in battle with him. However, Cor was turbocharged on warp juice at this point and come blasts him with warp energy. As Guilliman is not a psychic Primarch,
it's not exactly a Space Marine, it's a juiced up one.
Vulnerable to warp-based attacks, so once again he fell to his knees. In his arrogance, Corferon wanted to corrupt Guilliman to show him that no one is incorruptible, so he cuts G-Man's throat with a Chaos Knife, similar to the knife used to corrupt Horus. However, Guilliman didn't have the same weakness in his heart that Horus did, so he resisted the corruption and then caved Corferon's chest in, showing once again that if you have a Primarch at your mercy, don't fucking hesitate. When Corvus escaped Isfahan after losing most of his legion, he had to do a lot of heavy lifting in the subsequent battles. He was often leading from the front and doing the most challenging parts of the battles by himself. As such, he died like nearly 5 times, all against Space Marines. One time he fought a wordbearer who mutated into a demon beast that was almost as powerful as he was. Another time he got shot out of the sky and then gangbanged by some of Fabius Baal's new men, which at the time were just girthier Space Marines. Another time a traitor Raven Guard tried to blow him up. Another time he was in the thick of battle fighting a ton of traitors and then got hit with a missile. Corvus ate shit and he ate it hard, only surviving these situations due to last second saves from his warriors or just raw tenacity with a bit of luck thrown in. I like it as it shows why Primarchs can't just solo win battles. If they try, they put themselves in a lot of danger. Any Primarch will eat shit if they're hit with a missile. The juicy part is that none of these near-death experiences had anything to do with another Primarch. Now Vulcan can't die, but if he could, his first death would have been at the hands of Space Marines. During the Isfahan dropsite massacre, Ferris was slain by Fulgrim, Corvus led a breakout and escaped, and Vulcan raged and charged the Iron Warriors gun line. He was so mighty and furious that for a while it looked like he would not be stopped. However, Perturabo dropped a spicy nuke on him, and then a horde of traitors charged.
Drops a nuke, like, oh, that's the Primarch. Let me just drop that nuke right there. Okay.
The wounded Vulcan and dogpiled him, shanking him until he finally died. He would go on to survive.
And then they jumped him after. You nuked him, and then you jumped him.
Due to being an unkillable perpetual, but if it wasn't for his perpetual power, his death literally would have been from 1,000 stab wounds by unnamed traitor Space Marines. The Lion didn't really have much issue when it came to killing Space Marines, even his own ones. However, if I got $1 for every time the Lion was nearly killed by a renegade psychic Dark Angel, I would have $2, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. The first was against Luthor, who got turbocharged by Chaos. Neither warrior wanted to kill the other, hence they both hesitated. In that hesitation, Luthor blasted the Lion with Chaos power, wounding him and allowing the Watchers in the Dark to take him and put him into a coma. The second time was recently, when Lord Seraphax, a fallen Dark Angel Psyker, tried to remove the Lion's soul from his body so that he could possess him, which would have killed the Lion in the process. It's unclear if it would have worked, as during the spell, the Loyalist fallen angels arrived and saved the Lion, but it was looking a bit dicey for a bit. Can't trust those fucking renegade Psyker Dark Angels. When Lorgar was trying to turn Angron into a demon prince, a number of World Eaters who didn't have the Butcher's Nail saw what was happening and tried to stop it. All remaining World Eater librarians combined forces and psychically attacked Lorgar, whilst the old Legion Master, a Dreadnought, attacked Lorgar's physical body. They were fucking up Lorgar pretty hard and may have even killed him if it wasn't for Angron ascending and then slaughtering his Legion Master and all remaining librarians. But it does show that a combined psychic and physical attack on a distracted Primarch is a pretty solid method to killing them. I won't be including the time Lorgar was shot by a Titan twice and then nearly stomped on, as that was a Titan crew, not a Space Marine, that nearly killed him. During the Siege of Terra, Jagadai was a wild card. Whilst Dawn wanted to sit behind his wall and grind the enemy down, Jagadai wanted to strike out and save the innocents of Terra. He did so, however got caught up in the Death Guard, with one of them stabbing Jagadai with a Nurglite knife. His Primarch physiology could resist most of the poison, but it slowed him down and he began getting dogpiled by the Plague Marines. He would have died if Sanguinius didn't arrive to save him then and there. Fulgrim is the one Primarch on this list that 100% should not have been able to survive the time a Space Marine nearly killed him. He was shot in the fucking head with a high caliber needle sniper by the legendary Nakonai Shuriken. He got absolutely boomed in the dome, yet he more or less managed to walk it off. This was also pre-Demonic Ascension Fulgrim. You could also consider Rylanor blowing up a virus bomb in his face, which was one of the coolest moments in all of 40k lore, as another close call with death via a Space Marine. Yeah, sure, he survived, and yeah, sure, he's a demon, so he can't really die, but I'm counting it. Let's actually count all Demon Primarch banishments at the hands of Astartes, since a banishment is closer to death than nearly dying as a mortal. Angron had his sword broken and then his form banished during the first war for Armageddon by the Grey Knight Hyperion. Magnus got smacked with a Cornite axe, and then banished by the Grey Knights during one of the many sieges of Fenris. Mortaran had his heart cut out and branded by Kaldor Drago before he was banished. The traitor Primarchs have had their shares of L's from loyalist Space Marines. And finally, Rogel Dawn, who was last seen being dragged down by Black Legionnaires. However, his body was never recovered except for his hand, so it's unclear where he is at. Was that him being killed by Space Marines, or was it just another near-death experience? There are many other times Primarchs were nearly killed, or actually killed by non-Primarchs, such as when Horus got shot by a Knight and only survived because a bunch of demons body blocked it. However, that was a Knight, not a Space Marine, so we're not going to count it. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel,
that was good, man. I didn't know there's that many, close calls that the Primarchs had. I mean, I had no idea. Like, I figured that there'd be moments where, like, the Primarchs would be in trouble, but I didn't think it'd be, like, that close or that, or like, that often. I had no idea. And that's really cool kind of to see that, despite Primarchs being so powerful and so dominant that they could still get put to their knees. Of course, they always have plot armor. I mean, it'd be pretty dumb for the Primarch got killed. You know, that really wouldn't be the best thing for Warhammer in the long run. But just to see just how much you should never underestimate your opponent. You know, like I said, a Primarch is insanely more powerful than a Space Marine, but like, there's always going to be, you know, a Space Marine that falls in the S tier and then can get boosted by Chaos, like we saw in this video a couple of times, or anything else that can at least put up a fight. You know, so really cool video. I highly enjoy this one. Great video, like always, from Major Kills. So like always, please check them out in the description. Show them some love. If you guys my content, if you guys my reactions, please don't forget to like and subscribe. See you guys next one. Take it easy.